Hey everybody, I'm trying this video again. So I'm along part of the Belleville sub and we're in Perth. It's actually at the end of Herriott Street. Right over there, you can just see the smokestack for Shandex, which used to be Perth soap. And right over that direction is the old brown shoes, and it's now over the other side of town, and it's called Caleras. So we're here because this is the former site of the C.P.R station. Now originally, and the site is right there. That's where she stood, the old girl. It was built in 1859 by the Ontario and Quebec Railroad. And then the Brockville and Ottawa Railroad more or less took them over, and back in the late 1800s, it was 9 hours 45 minutes to do the 40-mile trip from Brockville to Perth. Perth was actually a spur, I guess you could call it. It wasn't until Canadian Pacific Railroad took it over that it was extended to Toronto. And it used to be double track main line all the way from Toronto to Montreal. And now it's just single to Smiths Falls, and the word's coming down that they're going to make it a single track from Smiths Falls to at least Winchester, on the Winchester sub. And over here there was an engine shop, car shops, and there was also yard tracks. Now all this it wasn't here obviously back then. Over in that general area that you're looking at is where the water tower was. It was a stone and wood built water tower. Over in this area, right over, probably just where the bungalow is, there were two signals. All that's left of those are the signal bases. The signals have been moved down around the curve past Irwin Street, which is where I like the Railfan, as well as here. Over in this area there were the signal maintainers' residence, as well as a station master, and they had a small shop there. It looked to be about the size of a single car garage or so. I'm going to post a link in the video description where you can learn all about this area. It's very rich in railroad history. That, I don't know what that was. It could have been a cistern to supply water to the station. I'm not sure. But the water tower was on the east side of the station, which would put it right over there. Because as we see, this is where the station was. The town wanted to save it, but it was just too cost prohibitive for them to buy and relocate the station. That was one of the conditions, is that the town would have had to relocate the station. So in 1979 it was demolished. There's a lot of history here. And then just over that way, again, it's hard to see in the summertime with all the trees and bushes and growth, but right over that way is a ramp, and they used to load and unload products from the town businesses on that ramp as well. Before this line was extended, that's where the passenger trains used to unload and load, or drop and pick up passengers for the passenger trains. And at one time in the 1930s, this line here saw 14 passenger trains a day, and as well some of their flagship trains used to go by here. And again, in the link that I'm going to share, you can see some of the trains paused here. And those, I don't know if you can really see them. Those are cantilever bridges, and I'm pretty sure though those are for the signals that they just recently put in, well, about a year ago, down at Drummond Street, the Drummond Street crossing. They don't have the cantilever bridges on them, as you've seen in many of my videos. So I'm pretty sure that, and I'm not sure what they're waiting for. It could be traffic volume going up, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what those are for. There's no other cantilevers around here. So anyway, I just thought this is the first part of my little history of subdivisions. I want to, in part 2, we'll go around the corner, around the curve, Herriott Street, and I'll show you where the tracks came in, where the yard lead as it was located. The ties are still in the ground, and again, because it's summertime, and as you can see, very, very overgrown, you can't really see them. But in the fall and the spring, you can see them clearly. They removed the rails, left the ties, and I'm not sure why they do that, considering they're soaked in creosote. But railway property is always pretty loaded with chemicals and such. There was a switch over this way, and that also led into here. Again, you'll see in the pictures. So that's the first part, for good or bad or whatever. I tried doing this once before and I screwed up a few things, and I'm not a perfectionist, but I don't like to make mistakes like that. Anyway, enjoy, and see you in part 2.